With history the final judge of our deeds, let us go forth to lead the land we love, asking His blessing and His help, but knowing that here on earth God's work must truly be our own.
The truth shall make you free. This documentary exposes the conspiracy involved in the cover-up of the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. JFK was fully aware of this conspiracy and the traitorous plans against the American people and the Constitution of the United States of America. JFK was not willing to participate with these plans, thus he was assassinated. This video clearly documents who the conspirators are, what their plan is, how they are accomplishing their plan, and more importantly, the solution, what we can do to protect ourselves from this conspiracy. Please prove this out to yourself, to do your own research. Don't take my word for it. I, of all people, did not want to believe this. I need proof, I need facts, and I needed to prove it to myself, and I did. Millions of brave men and women have died or been injured fighting for our freedom and our constitutional rights. I'm very grateful for their courage. I'm also very thankful to have those constitutional rights so I can use them in this video presentation. By learning the truth, we equip ourselves with the ability to overcome this cowardly deception we are now faced with. So it's about time now we get to the facts. And remember, the truth shall make you free.
I don't care how many rescue squads they send to help Dick Nixon travel around the United States. I don't care if Cabot Lodge and Nelson Rockefeller and Barry Goldwater all prop him up and push him forward, and I don't care if they add Dewey, Landon, and Hoover to advise them how to win.
The top notorious secret society group known as the Illuminati are at the core of this global conspiracy facing the whole world. If the world published a list of trillionaires, these Illuminati families would be the only ones on it. You name it, they own it. Corporate merger upon corporate merger hide the true ownership of their world's assets. It's mind-boggling to discover the extent of what these families own and control. It was no big surprise to me to discover that big money is at the root of this conspiracy. We all know that people will do anything for money and power, and this documentary presents several examples of how low people will go to get it. These top Illuminati families joined forces centuries ago to secretly work together through secret society groups to monopolize and control the governments and economies of the world. Throughout history, the Illuminati families have created and financially backed communism, socialism, fascism, and countless forms of tyrannical dictatorships all over the world. Sometimes the truth hurts, and here's where the pain started for America. In 1913, the Illuminati financially conquered the United States of America. By owning the President and the majority of the members of both the House of Representatives and the Senate, the Federal Reserve Act of 1913 was passed. The Federal Reserve is a privately owned banking system. It is not federally owned or operated. We the people are easily deceived simply by the title of this new act of Congress, the Federal Reserve System. Listed here are the principal international banking firms that are the Federal Reserve. Take a big guess at who owns these banks. You guessed it, the Illuminati families own all of these international banks. European maneuvering in the American economy is nothing new. As early as 1835, Baron James D. Rothschild of Paris was the principal investor in the Bank of the United States. Baron Nathan Mayer de Rothschild once arrogantly exclaimed during a party at his mansion, I care not what puppet is placed upon the throne of England to rule the empire on which the sun never sets. The man that controls Britain's money supply controls the British Empire, and I control the British money supply. Napoleon once said, when a government is dependent for money upon bankers, the bankers and not the leaders of the government control the situation, since the hand that gives is above the hand that takes. Money has no motherland. Financiers are without patriotism and without decency. Their sole object is gain. Coming from Napoleon, one of the biggest mass murderers of the world's history, that's quite a claim. George Washington stated in a letter written to Reverend G.W. Schneider, written at Mount Vernon on September 25, 1798. Washington thanked Schneider for sending him a copy of Professor John Robinson's book, Proofs of a Conspiracy. Washington writes, I have heard much of the evil and dangerous plan and doctrines of the Illuminati. It was not my intention to doubt that. The doctrines of the Illuminati and the principles of Jacobinism had not spread in the United States. On the contrary, no one is more truly satisfied of this fact than I am. It has been suggested that Abraham Lincoln's assassination was a direct result of his refusal to accept the Rothschilds' offer to help finance the North during the Civil War. One source even claims that the Rothschilds operated through Judah P. Benjamin, an agent to the South during the Civil War, to hire John Wilkes Booth to kill Lincoln. Lincoln perceived the corrupting influences of the international bankers and said, I see in the near future a crisis approaching that unnerves me and causes me to tremble for the safety of my country. Corporations have been enthroned. An era of corruption in high places will follow, and the money power of the country will endeavor to prolong its reign by working upon the prejudices of the people until the wealth is accumulated in a few hands and the republic destroyed. President Woodrow Wilson acknowledged the dangers of the new banking system and said, we have come to be one of the worst ruled, one of the most completely controlled governments in the civilized world. No longer a government of free opinion, no longer a government by a vote of the majority, but a government by the opinion and duress of a small group of dominant men. Some of the biggest men in the United States in the fields of commerce and manufacture are afraid of something. They know that there is a power somewhere so organized, so subtle, so watchful, so interlocked, so complete, so persuasive, that they had better not speak above their breath when they speak in condemnation of it. A communique sent from a Rothschild investment house in England to an associate Rockefeller banking firm in New York read, the few who understand the system will either be so interested in its profits or so dependent on its favors that there will be no opposition from that class, while on the other hand, the great body of people, mentally incapable of comprehending, will bear its burdens without complaint. As of March 1996, that burden of debt to the American people has reached $5 trillion. The Federal Reserve System is now the United States' major creditor. Since 1835, when President Jackson paid off the national debt, it took 147 years, and in 1982 the national debt hit $1 trillion. Then it only took another 4 years to go to $2 trillion.